Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? I was looking at one of my favorite web forums the other day, and somebody asked a great question. The person was new to playing the older versions of the game, and they asked, "Why are there so many retro clones? Why would you play a retro clone rather than playing the original version of the game?" So a lot of people had some good answers, and there were a couple that really stood out to me. Um, the first one was that over time, the people that write games have become really good at kind of organizing the information so you can get the rules right away. And essentially, bottom line is, when a lot of the original versions of D&D were written, we weren't as good at writing the rules down as we are now. We've kind of learned how to do that. There's a clone of what's essentially BX D&D with a few house rules called Lamentations of the Flame Princess. And the guy's taken information that was all over the place in the rules and put it all in the beginning. So you can look at the various classes like a fighter and instantly see what are my saves, what are my experience points, what are my attack bonuses, whatever. It's all right there in the first few pages, which is kind of where you'd expect it to be nowadays in the game. So that's one of the reasons is they're kind of presented a little bit better than they used to be. The second is they're available. I mean, you can't go find yourself a copy of original D&D anywhere for not a lot of money, and it's tough to find them. Period. You can find some older books and whatnot, but and some have been re-released, but not too many. And some of them are kind of collector's items, and you don't want to take them out and game with them. Um, but there's tons and tons of stuff available. And in fact, one of the neat things is you can go out and decide as a DM, I want to run a game, which once again, to use that example, 4 years ago, my friend, bought a hard copy of Lamentations of the Flame Princess, said, we'd like to, I want to play this, let's get together. And so the rest of us were free to either buy the book if we wanted to, or just download a free PDF and we could start playing because it was available. And, in my case, I didn't buy the book right away, so my financial investment as a player was pretty much gas money and whatever food I brought or bought wherever we went, and that was it. So it's pretty much the accessibility. And some people talk about the fact that these retro clones are essentially whatever version of D&D it is, but this guy's house rules because he thought his house rules were better. And to be honest with you, we've been house ruling the game since it came out, and that's the way it is. And if you don't like some of the guy's house rules, don't use them. Um, Essentially, whatever game I kind of land on that I'm going to use as the core, whether it's be Labyrinth Lord or something like Swords and Wizardry, I'm going to have some house rules, and also I'll let my players know, hey, okay, get a PDF or book or whatever you want to of this game, but here's my 1 or 2 pages of house rules, so you can ignore those rules in the book. So they're accessible. At the end of the day, you look at these various games, and there's not too much different. A little difference here and there in a chart or whatnot, but they're available, they're accessible, and they're well written. So I don't have any problems using retro clones. In fact, I'm grateful that people took the time to do that, so we didn't have to go out and try to find hard copies of the games that we knew and loved.